Hey everybody, movie review next door here, and I know it's been a few days. Um, I'm back starting my 300 subscriber marathon, where I take a look at three movies that people randomly in my comments have said are the worst movies they've ever seen, and it just so turns out that the three movies that got picked are on Wikipedia's list of the worst movies ever made. So, guess I'm starting with this one. Um, Tonight I saw Amanti, or A Place for Lovers. This is a drama romance film directed by Vittorio De Sica from 1968, and it stars Marcello Mastroianni and Faye Dunaway. So, what did I think of Amanti, or A Place for Lovers? It's it's a movie. That's it's I really didn't care for it. I will be honest. I don't think it's the worst movie ever. I don't even think it's close. But this movie does squander a lot of interesting story opportunities and opportunities to get like deeper into the characters really and just kind of it just doesn't do it well. Um, but let me get to the actors real quick. Literally two actors for most of it. So, um, Marcello Mastroianni is Valerio. He's a airbag salesman and he's really wooden. He's not great. Apparently he was in a shit ton of movies, uh, in the starring role. He's like a big actor from frickin' Italy. Um, but he's not great in the film at all. Faye Dunaway. Well, here's the issue. I don't even know if it's either of their voices. This is a film with in Italian, so it is kind of hard to judge that. But Faye Dunaway's dubbing is not great. I don't know if Faye Dunaway can actually speak Italian enough to star in a film that's in Italian, but I mean, I'm always captivated by her presence. But here's the thing, this film came out around a similar time as a love affair that these two had, Faye Dunaway and Marcello Mastroianni. And I can't remember if that happened before or after. I don't really care, to be honest. But I really love Faye Dunaway. I do. I loved her in Network. Excuse me. I thought she was one of the best parts of Eyes of Laura Mars. She was fantastic in Mommy Dearest, Thomas Crown Affair. I do think she is a really, really, really good actress. Um, there's a reason she's like super well known. But freaking this movie squanders having an actress like her by being dubbed. Now, there are Italian movies that are in English. Um, like Dario Argento's films, for the most part, are. I think they were recorded without sound or something, or without voices, and then they added in the speech later, which makes for some weird edits and shit throughout the movies. But this film should have been in English. That would have helped it a bit. I don't think that the movie's bad just because it's in Italian. It's just that a lot of the performances come off very wooden. A lot of things that happen so quick. This is one of those movies that is just, sorry for readjusting so much. My back is killing me. It's one of those movies that keeps doing this thing where it jumps around and you don't know what the fuck is happening in the movie. And it's just all in all pretty yeah, it's rough to sit through. This is a rough movie to finish. It really is. And only thing I can really say is like, well, I don't recommend this movie, first of all. This plot, the plot that is listed, I had to find this to watch on another site because it's not really available in a lot of places. I'm gonna read off what is listed as the plot of this movie, at least a part of it. Um, okay. A divorced American fashion designer. At no point in the film do they mention that she is a fashion designer. Is dying of a tragic, incurable disease with only 10 days to live. They do say she has only 10 days to live at some point, but they never explain what the disease is. It's just a disease. Uh, Vacationing in an Italian villa while watching television, she spots a TV interview with an Italian engineer, Valerio, who designs plastic airbags to protect passengers in automobile collisions. Recognizes his face as meeting him before at the airport. Yeah, the way that scene happens is it cuts from her like lying down on a bed to her watching TV to her talking to the guy and then back to her in that same bed. So I'm guessing that was all flashbacks. I don't know. They don't make it very clear. Uh, Making love, Julia's friend Maggie reappears and reveals that Julia is actually an escapee from the hospital where she was being treated for a disease. Wants her to return to have a painless death. That's not really what she says. She just basically says, "You need to come back with me. You're gonna die this way, and you're gonna die either way." But this is a movie where I would not know what was going on in the movie if I didn't have this summary here that someone wrote, which isn't a movie supposed to like give you all of the like details of like what's gonna happen in some way. Like it just kind of felt like this movie was slapped together, and the quality is not great either of video. And I know certain movies don't get remastered, whatever, but there has to be like a higher quality rip of this movie. It's only in like 480p, even on like YouTube and shit. So I don't know. I did not know what this movie was when I saw it in the comments. And I didn't say the commenter's name because I asked them and they haven't didn't reply. If later they want a shout out, I'll put them in the comments. But they just said, "Oh yeah, A Place for Lovers," and I looked it up, and on Wikipedia, it's considered one of the worst films ever made. And again, I don't think it is. There are some bits of this film that keep it from being near the worst, one of the worst films ever made. Like, there's some really nice shots of scenery in Italy. There's a nice shot of Faye Dunaway against um like a glass window where her face is reflecting and it looks really nice. This film is not what there's a shot of her and him like having a conversation in front of a projector that's very well lit and very interesting. And like it's not like this movie is complete amateur hour, but a lot of this film, the editing is insufferable at times where you'll cut from her pretending to be pregnant as a joke in front of the camera to them on a plane to her sleeping to her back on a plane, and it's not like a different scene. It's one of those movies that thinks, "Oh, it'll be more interesting if we keep like mixing things up." And it doesn't work. And it if anything it just confuses me. And I wasn't a fan of the editing at all. But yeah, there's not a lot to talk about with this film. I think I'll have more to talk about with movie 43 and Manos the Hands of Fate. Um, which I'm not loving having to see Manos the Hands of Fate again. The first time I saw it, I watched it with my mom with the Mystery Science Theater. There was like a pack I had with Mystery Science Theater, Manos Hands of Fate, and Santa Claus Conquers the Martians, which I should watch some of that show. Um, like the stuff from back then. The newer stuff, I'm not a big fan of the riff track stuff. But yeah, um, Yeah. This film is just really a sappy melodrama that doesn't really hit any of the emotions that it's trying to go for, and it just kind of feels undercooked, if anything. And yeah, it's just I won't even say disappointing. I heard it was one of the worst movies ever. Again, it's not one of the worst movies ever. There are far worse romance movies out there. I'd say 50 Shades of Grey, like, well, no, 50 Shades of Grey was at least entertaining. 365 Days is barely a movie. It's more of a mixture of music videos. And from what I've heard, 365 Days this day and the next 365 days are both the same way. But yeah, it's, this is just a movie that feels very, again, it feels like no one wanted to make it. This feels like, because I saw, like, I recognize that the, oh my God, the soundtrack. But the guy who did the score is related to the director, same last name. So my guess is that Faye Dunaway was like maybe in Italy and they filmed this really quick because they couldn't have taken long to film this. They filmed this really quick with her. They were like, "Oh, you're on vacation in Italy. Let's make you some money while you're here." And yeah, that's what it feels like to me. It's just like around the same time Faye Dunaway was in like classic movies, so I don't really know what happened. It's It's just like an oddity in her career, I guess. Like some people would say like Superman or Supergirl that she was in as the villain or Mommy Dearest would be oddities, but I'd say this is the true oddity because yeah, just feels like no one wanted to make it. But yeah, there's not much left I can say. I don't recommend it. I don't think a lot of people will enjoy it. Oh yeah, lastly, the score is really rough in places. There's some parts with like nice flute and trumpet and all that, but the other parts with like the weird like meh, it just sounds really bad. But yeah, sorry this wasn't more of a video. But yeah, what you gonna do? But yeah, hope y'all enjoyed my review of Amanti or A Place for Lovers, and move over your next door.